We begin with breaking news. Hurricane Beryl has just made landfall in Texas.
Now, you can see on the radar, one of the cities getting hit the hardest is Galveston Island. It's right in the middle of Beryl's path, and that's where we find reporter Omar Villafranca. Omar, what are conditions there right now where you are?
Well, right now in Galveston, we're starting to obviously feel the storm, as you can see around me right now. Let me give you a little scene setter here. Just this way is where Beryl made landfall, just south of us. Right behind me, directly behind me. Sometimes I can turn around, sometimes I can't. That's the Gulf of Mexico and the Galveston seawall that's coming in. Some of the numbers we're keeping an eye on. We're looking for winds gusts up to 70 miles an hour here, although it is a hurricane, so we have sustained winds in the storm of at least 75. But what we're keeping an eye on is the storm surge, and that is the deadliest part of any hurricane, as experts will tell you. Between 4 to 6 feet, also 6 to 9 inches of rain here in the Galveston area. Now, while this storm is going on in the Houston area, there's actually a couple tornado warnings going on. So that's something we're also keeping an eye on as Beryl makes landfall. Folks here are hunkered down. They've been through this before. Power in and out right now, and gusts like that one that's kind of pushing us forward are coming through. But conditions are deteriorating, but people here are hunkered down. Businesses are locked down right now. We just want to see when the sun comes up how bad this is going to be. Chris, Cindy?
Okay, Omar Villafranca for us down in Galveston, Texas. Thank you. And we stick with CBS 2 for the very latest developments on Hurricane Beryl, on air and online. We're going to continue to follow this, of course, all morning long. Let's get over to Tony Sadiku right now. Your first alert forecast for not only our forecast, but you can see on the radar behind Tony right there what's going on in Texas.
And you saw it there. I mean, the impacts of the storm as it continues to move through, officially making landfall moments ago. And there's Galveston, that portal right there along the coast, and getting a lashing all the way through Houston. There's I-10, and the heaviest rain, the storm surge is important because now you've got the counterclockwise flow. So that's what's helping to push in all that water on shore, in addition to the fact that they're actually approaching high tide. So that's going to really worsen the impacts there. So a lot of impacts with this storm. There have been tornado reports as well on the northeast side, as we're always worried about when a storm moves and makes landfall. So a lot of impacts there. And of course, we're thinking of those folks as they'll likely see impacts throughout the day. Everything from power outages, already flooding reports, parts of the coastline seeing as much as 8 inches of rain the last 24 hours. It's an 80-mile-per-hour hurricane right now, moving north at 12. So it's not lingering, and I think because of that, it should help them out in terms of not seeing prolonged impacts. It will weaken as it continues to move over land into a tropical storm, and then the remnants moving north and potentially being swept in our direction. But just wanted to show you just how much additional rainfall they could see, especially as the storm continues to move north. Parts of eastern Texas, another 9 inches, close to a foot in isolated pockets. Meanwhile, for us, we will wait for that added moisture late week. For the start of the week, rain chances are very low. Most of you not going to require the umbrella. In fact, you look at the picture now, this is a sharp contrast, ain't it? We got clear skies, temps in the upper 70s to start. We're way above normal for this time of the year, even at our lowest point. So you got to capitalize on some of these numbers while you've got them, because they don't stick around. Kingston right now 60 degrees, Hamburg 66. What's interesting too is the winds, right? The direction. They're moving out of the north, which tends to help us replace our air mass. I know the winds aren't blowing as much as you might want it to, to really kind of fan and mix the air, but it's helped to allow these numbers to retreat a little bit. So maybe you felt the slight drop in humidity yesterday. It's coming back, and while numbers are okay the further north you are, watch the future dew point map and see the 70s swarming the Hudson Valley. And when I play it out through this week, these numbers don't change, so expect it to feel plenty hot and humid. That's why we got heat advisories today for feels like temperatures in the mid to upper 90s across the area. These numbers go up even more tomorrow. More triple digits, especially away from the coast. Rain chances, again, on the low side. Thunderstorm chances start to pick up Wednesday and Thursday into Friday, so by then you want to keep the rain gears on hand, but it looks and feels like that sultry air mass, guys, not going away anytime soon.
So we don't get a break for the whole week. Sorry.
What's your definition of break?
You get a break from the 90s, but it's kind of deceiving because it doesn't feel much better.
Wow. All right. Thank you, Tony.